Hey y'all, welcome to a teardown of the Game Boy Color. We're going to take it completely apart and check out its insides. So I'm going to be using my Fix-It kit, and we're going to use the Y driver, which is the Y0, and a Phillips. We're going to go with a Phillips 0 on this one in this case. So what we're going to do first is we're going to flip it over. We're going to take the battery pack off, or I should say the battery cover off, and we're going to be removing that, so those two screws down there, and then this one, and this one. Okay, so these two screws don't come out that easily, but when we take off the shell, if you flip it over, those will just fall right out. So now what we're going to do is we'll set it down. We're going to swap over from our Y to our Phillips head, and we're going to take out this screw, and this screw. Now that those two screws are out, what we can do is at the top where the ribbon cable is, we're going to pull up on these two brown levers, like so, slide the ribbon cable out, and then the entire motherboard can lift up and out. Keeping in mind that when you do that, the bottom speaker is going to float with it probably. So not a problem. There's no other screws, so you don't have to worry about that. So go ahead and set that down. And if your front casing is what's broken, you can pull these pads off like this. And take note that when you pull them off, that the buttons have a sequence that they go in. You can tell by where the nubs are on all of them. So this one doesn't have any nubs. I can just go in either way. But if you flip it over, all those will fall out, including the power switch. So we'll set those off to the side. Now, if the IR falls out, you can always just put it back in, but that just slides right out. And now all we're left with is the LCD screen. Once you get that off, you can actually go down under here gently with some kind of flat tool, that way you don't damage the ribbon cable, and be able to pry up on the actual screen. Do not pull on the ribbon cable because you'll break it. So when you do it, just take like a pair of tweezers or something, gently, spread them out a little bit, get it down under there, and just pull up on it. Mine's not secured, so it will just fall right out. But you won't damage it as long as you're careful. And then you can put the new screen in. Don't worry, it won't move around once you get it all in there. Just put it back in there. And then put the select and start buttons back in. Latch it in there, and that one's now in there. Next part we're going to do is we're going to take the motherboard, and we're going to set the speaker in first, and as we do that, we're going to make sure that the motherboard goes under the ribbon cable. Push down on the two brown pieces, and then you're going to have to make sure that you get the screen in place with the motherboard, so that way it sits flush down on its body, like so. Once all those are down in there, you could take the power switch. Now this only goes in one way, and the way to know which way it goes in is very simple. You see this little nub right down here? Right there? We're going to set that right down on that nub right there, not the white piece, but the little purplish clear piece right down in there. And you want to make sure that the power switch matches up with the two posts. So basically, we can set this down in between the plastic and the nub, right there like that. Do it again. Right there like that. That way when you switch it, it clicks and stays in place. Now, what we can do is take the IR plate, and I don't know if this matters which way it goes in, so we're going to make it to where the opening faces up. And right here, it will just slide into place, like so. And then we can take those Phillips that we took out earlier, put the middle one in first, that way it keeps it aligned. Now that those are in, what we'll go ahead and do is swap back to our Y bit. Take the top or the back housing and slide it over it. Being careful of the top ribbon cable that you don't pinch it. Make sure everything fits in there, nice and cozy. And we're going to do the top one first. And now everything is back in. Everything clicks. And it should all work. Now, one thing you'll want to note is when you put it back together, make sure that you can click this power button with ease. And right now it's too hard, so what we need to do is go to this screw, untwist it once, along with the upper screw. We need to untwist it once. And then once it's undone, it will click. If it's still too hard, just play with the level of toughness on these two screws. Don't worry, they won't fall out. And it will make it easier to click. This has been a rebuild guide by Tech Ninja. Hope you all enjoy, and talk to you all in another episode.